What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Phase 6, your source for music, business, motivation, and support. It's your guy, Sirr Love, and I'm super excited to do another episode of Chasing Greatness. Yes, here we are. This, as you guys know, on this show, I reach out to random individuals that have sent text messages through the text line. And as you guys know, the text line is 404-442-4792. All you got to do is send a text message to that line with a question, and we reach back out randomly at random times to answer said questions and call you into the show. And so we never really know what we're going to get anytime we have one of these scenarios. So I got a couple messages out from the last blast that we still didn't get back to everyone from the last blast. There's a lot of you all that sent questions in, and I appreciate it. And so we're going to jump into it and just kind of see what the vibe is and what's going on. So here we go. The first person was Quentin, and Quentin is from, where's Quentin from? I don't know. Quentin didn't put where he's from. 239. I don't know what 239 is. We'll find out. But Quentin wanted to know, how often should an independent artist release songs, right? It was a while ago since he asked that question. The question may have changed between now and then, but let's figure it out. Let's find out. Here we go.
Hey, it's Q.
Yo, Q, how you doing? This is Sirr Love from Phase 6. How you feeling?
What's up, brother? I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
I am super solid, my guy. Super solid. I got
awesome, bro.
I saw your message, man, and I know we didn't get back to you last time, and I'm going back around and trying to catch everybody if I can.
Okay, cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, no problem, dog. So, man, normally I could tell where everyone's from. You got a 239 number. Where you from?
It's Florida, South Florida.
Okay, South Florida. That's what's up. Okay, cool. I ain't catching you when, we've been doing these shows, and sometimes I'm catching people mad late or mad early. They still in work and whatnot because I'm trying to get all the time zones in. I've had a couple different people that we brought on the show that were from across seas, and so I was definitely jacking up the time code. But shoot, man, it's great to have you on. Great to have you on the show, man. I appreciate you for supporting the channel and supporting everything that we're doing. And like I said, man, we're reaching out to answer questions randomly. And so whatever's on your mind, whatever question you got, I'd love to try to take the next 10 minutes or so to answer it.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, let's dive right into it. I think last time I messaged you, I wanted to know what your thoughts were in regards to how often should an artist, particularly singer-songwriters,
Mm-hmm.
how often should they be releasing music? I mean, I'm an artist that definitely likes quality over quantity. So I'm just wondering, like, with that being so, how often should, we release music, especially if we're independent?
So I think that depends on your marketing strategy. It depends on your budget. It depends on the type of music that you make. There are a lot of factors. There's not going to be any one answer for one artist. Now, if we look at it from an online algorithm perspective, being that algorithms are pretty much driving, consumption in the music business right now, then the answer to that question is going to be undoubtedly you want to consistently release music at a regular schedule cadence, right? All of the content platforms that are out there, whether they're social or streaming based or whatever, they all reward you for consistently releasing content because their goal is to keep users on their platforms as long as possible. So the more content you release, the more your fans are excited to see it, the more their users stay on the site looking at you. So from a business algorithmic perspective, you should be dropping records as frequently as possible, and then supportive material. So you might drop the record, you might drop a snippet of the record, then you might drop the record, then you might drop, a lyric video, then you might drop a full video, then you might drop a behind the scenes of the video, then you might drop, the idea is to break up that one release into as many pieces of content as possible. You got photo shoots at the videos, you're dropping photos, right? And you're constantly working set algorithms. And mind you, every algorithm, every platform, every strategy would be different per platform to maximize, consumption through the proliferation of the app. Now, from a creative perspective, you can throw all that out the window, right? So,
Right.
but I got to give you the business response, right? So that's one side of it, and that is a mechanical kind of cookie cutter best practices, technique, right? Doesn't matter if your music is good or bad. It should lead to an increase in volume of consumption based off where you are, right? The better you do it, the better your content is, the more of an increase you'll see. But regardless of which, your stuff could suck. If you do that, you're going to see an increase. Now, there's the creative side of it, which is going to change, again, based off the quality, like you said, the quality of the music, and again, who you're targeting, how well you understand your targeted audience, and how well you service that audience. So if you think about artists that in recent times have taken a long time to drop projects, Bruno Mars dropped that last 24 Karat project, and we haven't heard anything from him since. But that fucking album was a smash. That shit was amazing, right? It was it was amazing quality. He toured the whole world, I think 2 times on that shit. It was a great project. But now there's a lot of pressure on him to drop another project that's going to be as great, right? Right. So when you do the process of being extremely creative and taking longer breaks between your records, you have an issue of underperforming. So let's go to artists like Big Sean. Big Sean took a long time before he dropped his latest project, right? And unfortunately, that project wasn't reviewed very well by his new fans, or not by his fans, right? And so as a result, he really lost, he really lost a grip on the market. Now, he's an artist that has staple fans, and he's always going to be able to tour and do certain things because he has a strong audience. But when you drop Detroit 2, knowing that Detroit was a dope, strong album, and you've taken this long to bring it to the market, and you don't have smashes on it, and you're not really servicing your audience and your fans in the way they want to be serviced, that's what makes people bring your name up in the have they fallen off conversation.
Okay.
So that's the whole concept of that. That's how I would speak to the complete converse, is that if you're not going to play the algorithms, you're going to play creative, and you're going to take as long as you want to perfect the album, know that the pressure from your audience to super serve them from a quality perspective is going to increase with every iteration. Now, to answer your original question, I believe that an artist should land somewhere in the middle. I believe that you should drop content that is consistent, right? You have a consistent cadence to how you drop singles, to how you drop records, to how you drop videos, to when you go on tour. I think there should be a cycle that you go through. Every X amount of time, I drop a single. Every X amount of time, I drop an album. Every X amount of time, I drop this, right? And sometimes that means breaking up your albums into mini EPs. Instead of doing, 12 record album, I'm going to drop two 5 record EPs and then 2 random singles in between. That way, instead of dropping one project a year, I just drop 4 different things throughout the year. I drop 2 singles. And 4, right? Yeah. You might want to break it up like that. And I think because you don't have to sacrifice quality, you just need to change your delivery process for how you're getting the records into the marketplace. Plus, that gives you a better grip on what's working and what's not working. So you could drop half the album in an EP format, right? And you can find out that your audience really isn't rocking with 2 of the records, and there could be a lot of things that those records have in common. You can now take off additional records that you were going to release that had a similar style, right? And so now you can avoid taking losses, promotional losses on those particular types of records. So you can learn from consumer behavior related to how you're releasing the content. So that would be, my feedback for everyone is you want to land somewhere in the middle, and you just want to break up your quality into multiple pieces. And at the same time, if you're an artist that makes trendy music, you know that your cadence has to be higher. Your volume has to be higher than an artist that's making music that is more timeless, right? A timeless piece, you can take your time to make it. If it takes you a year to make it, and then a year to promote it, and maybe 3-4 years before certain audiences hear it. So you have to keep that in mind from a timeless perspective. But if you're making trendy records using trendy catchphrases or trendy melodies or trendy whatever, everyone knows what trendy means, then you got to drop that shit now. You got to get it out there. You got to push it. You got to be on to the next.
Right.
So, you know what you're making, and you just have to have the proper strategy to support the type of music that you make.
Most deaf.
So
gotta ride that wave, right? If you plan for the now game, which a lot of artists are doing, I mean, especially given the circumstances, you got to really ride the wave, not only sound, but strategically, business-wise.
Yeah, if you're riding a now wave, your goal is not fall off, to stay on as long as you can, right? And if you're playing a longevity game, then it's to create, experiences for your audience that makes them want to rock with you for a long time. And there's two different strategies, even from how you're going to get paid and compensated, right? If you're playing a now game, you're dropping a single trying to see how many plays did I get within the first 30, 60, 90 days. Whereas if you drop a record that is what you would call timeless, or a record that is more creative, or you feel like, it's not a trendy record, it's something that's going to, again, be timeless, then you're looking at how the record grows over time. A trendy record is going to hit, it's going to swell, and then it's going to fizzle off, right? And the swelling part is the hard part, because the swelling is all the marketing and the push that you put behind the record. You work in the record. Whereas a timeless record, you can drop the record and it can build over time. Like a classic example of this was Kid Rock. Kid Rock's first album years and years ago. Obviously, Kid Rock. Most people don't even remember who this dude is, right? But Kid Rock dropped the project that pretty much flopped. Toured the country, and by the time he finished touring the country, I think it was double gold, triple gold, something, maybe it'd been platinum. I forgot the stats on it. But the record grew throughout the process of him going out there and making people familiar with the project. It was a quality record. People just weren't introduced to it, and it did the numbers and it did what it was supposed to do. Fast forward years later, Kid Rock becomes a hip hop country, icon, rock and roll icon, right? So, it just depends on the music and the type of music you make. Like if I think about a group like Migos, they're the perfect example of like a trendy group, right? And not to say there's anything wrong with being trendy, right? They're consistently dropping records, stay on top. Now, today, you'll have some people that'll say they're starting to fall off as artists like Lil Baby and DaBaby and whatever start to fill the void. But, they've had the game in a chokehold for a long time. And they did it by consistently hitting you with the new flow, with the new style, with the new this, over and over and over and over and over again. They stayed on your neck, right? But in the same time frame, you got artists like Kendrick Lamar.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
And, from a hip hop perspective, you can debate on who's better and who's this, that, and the third, and but both of them are successful. And I would say that the Migos have had a bigger impact on hip hop in the marketplace than Kendrick Lamar.
True.
But Kendrick Lamar, to most hip hop heads, would be considered, the more talented artist, the guy that can go into conversations with the greats in reference to, who's the best rapper of the era and blah, 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 blah. Right? Two separate conversations, but both of them getting money, both of them winning, both of them successful, and both of them have changed the culture in hip hop and made their own imprint. So it's on you. That's how I look at it. So, was that helpful?
That was incredible, man. You hit it. You went point by point, man.
That's what's up, man. That was a good question too. I appreciate you bringing that type of conversation to the table so that other people can hear that. But yeah, man, I hope that helps you with your quest. And you know what I'm saying? Obviously, be sure to check out the channel. We're doing the podcast thing right now. We're not doing any visuals with it. It's all audio. But a couple next episodes, we'll start doing videos and things of that nature with it. But right now, we are releasing it on YouTube, and it's going to start coming out on all the other podcast platforms. So, man, obviously, stay tuned to hear yourself, obviously. But check us out, man. We coming back, brother.
Most deaf, man. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. I appreciate you, man. Enjoy the rest of your day, my guy.
You too. All love, man. Be safe.
All right. One.
Bet.
All right. That was a dope conversation. I was feeling that. I was feeling that energy. Was anybody else feeling that energy? That felt like a vibe. I know so many of us struggle with that, right? We struggle with, how to be true to ourselves. What is being true to ourselves? How to be true to the game? What is being true to the game? What's the best way to work a project, get a project out there? I hope that was helpful, right? There's not any one way to do anything ever. On everybody, it's your boy Sirr Love from Phase 6. Here's another snippet from Chasing Greatness. All right. Let's keep this energy going. Let's keep this energy going for sure. So who we going to chat with next? That was Q. Let's see where we're going to go with next. I'm going to reach out to Alex. Yeah. Let's reach out to Alex. Alex is in VA. Is in the VA. Let's do it. Let's see. Alex is a manager. Okay, I see. Alex wants to have a debate about 360 conversations. In short, he didn't want. I'm not saying he wants to, but I could tell by the energy that we're going to end up having a debate about 360s. This should be exciting. I'm eager to see what happens. Let's see where this goes. Reaching out to Alex. Let's do it. Who is this?
Hello?
Hello, man. Speak to Alex.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just Alex, plain Alex.
Alex. I'm talking. Yes, Alex Rivera in Orlando.
Yeah, Alex Rivera.
You asked me. Let me go back. What would be the best way to get an artist some PR connections for blogs, radio, and interviews?
Yeah.
My bad, man. I confused you with a whole nother Alex, my guy, man.
That's cool.
Okay. So is that still your same question?
Yeah, that was really it. So I'm a manager. That part was true.
Okay.
I basically have an artist development company.
All right.
So we've been able to, as far as the artists we're working with now, anything that has to do with image, creative side, as far as the recording, videos, the media, all that, we basically have that taken care of for the most part. Now, basically, what I feel like the next step is really tapping into, reaching out to A&Rs, PR companies, things like that. But without being in the industry yet, as far as connections goes, then that was basically my question. Like, without having to go to these pages like Submit Hub and all these other pages, like if there's a better approach that you would say, in order to be able to get placements or sync licensing or things like that.
Okay. So for clarity, you said you've already figured out the PR side of it. So you don't want to talk about the PR side of it?
That's what we're looking for. That's part of what I need to get into. Really, what we have already figured out is more of the creative side and the branding for the artist.
Okay.
But I haven't tapped in too much as far as blogs and radio interviews and radio placements like that.
Got it. All right. So let's talk about it. We can definitely have that type of conversation. So from a PR perspective, let's talk about PR first. So public relations is, there are multiple tenets, multiple components to public relations that you need to be aware of, right? Sure. So first off, and I think I talked about this before, it hasn't been released yet, so I'll just talk about it again. I'm not sure if I'll say the exact same things, but so from a PR perspective, publicists do different things. So every publicist will tell you that they can do everything. But in my experience, publicists will be Michael Jordan in one area, and they'll be okay in other areas. All right?
Yeah, sure.
And so one key thing for you to know and what's important to you is trying to figure out what is important to you. All right, so let's talk about these categories of publicists that are common. You have the publicist that is a superstar when it comes to events. They know all the event planners. They know all the other publicists that are doing events, because obviously publicists are typically involved in planning, curating, and inviting people for events, blah, blah, blah. So they know all the other publicists. They have good, strong connections. They know the venue owners. They know event throwers. They know promoters. They know all these different players. They just know all these people that when it comes down to making something happen, they can get you into the event, right? So there's certain types of publicists where, it's Grammys in Cali, and I'm trying to be on the red carpet. I'm trying to go to the after parties. There's certain publicists that you'd hire for that, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
And that could also apply to local in your city promoters that move a certain type of publicists that move a certain type of way. That's just event-based publicists, right? If you want to do an event, they can make it pop, right? Then you have, online publicists that really can do a number when it comes to blogs. Like when it comes to blogs and social media and all these different things, there are publicists that can really take you from zero to hero as far as in reference to getting you on these outlets, right? Now, it doesn't necessarily
Gotcha,
mean that
okay.
you're going to be featured. You might just be on, on the site on a random page that no one sees. That could happen, right?
Yeah.
The effectiveness of a publicist is going to be based off of various different things, which we'll talk about. Let's finish listing the publicists. So you have your blog publicist or your social, basically your online publicist, right? Then you have, the publicists that are going to be more of your traditional publicists, the ones that can really work a media run and get you on radio and different things of that nature so you could talk about your project. They have the relationships to get you on Jimmy Fallon and whatever other TV show that you might be trying to get on, right? You have the publicists that kind of work it at that level. They normally do media buying and all sorts of crap. Well, that normally goes through promotions, but they'll just be involved in all sorts of other activities that are of a higher scale, right? Those are the three most common types of publicists that I see. All right. And mind you, these publicists may have more strengths in one region or one country than another. So all these variables come into play.
That's important, yeah.
All that's important.
Okay.
So you could be hiring the dopest publicist, but if you're in Orlando and they don't work Orlando well, you could be paying a bunch of money for no reason.
That makes sense.
Right.
So basically, that's the conversation I have with whoever I want to
hire,
work with.
Yeah, whoever you want to hire.
Right?
You want to figure out what their strength is. But mind you, like I said, they're all going to tell you that they're good at all of it. So you have to listen to them. You have to listen to the nuances. You got to ask really good questions, and you got to make sure you're vetting them, like you're interviewing them. You don't want to make it sound like an interview because then they may not want to work with you.
Track record.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just kind of want to get listen. When they tell you the type of things that they've done, what are they saying often? Oh, I did this post. I got so-and-so on this. I got so-and-so on that. Like if they're talking a lot about the outlets that they got people on, then that's probably their bread and butter. Whereas if they're talking a lot about, if they're selling you on their service, they may be selling you on events and things that are walkthroughs and blah, blah, blah. Like listen to them, right? You may have your own agenda, but make sure you're open to what they're saying, right? Active listening is very important when hiring a publicist. The next thing to know about hiring a publicist, which is probably more important, well, just as important as everything that I said, is that a publicist's job is to expand what is already there. If there's nothing there to expand, then the publicist is basically rendered helpless. You're going to be paying the publicist, and the whole time they're going to be asking you for more content. They're going to be asking you for more, asking you for more. You're going to hire someone to basically tell you to do shit, right? And you're going to be, the whole time you'll be feeling like, why aren't you doing shit? Why do you keep telling me to do stuff? It's because you're not at a place where they can really work your project. And only reason they took your project on, because they either know that, if they know this up front, then you're a check. They know that they can get paid for basically consulting you until you get ready, right? They're not going to tell you that, but that's basically what's going to happen. Or you sold them a bag of goods that was not true, and they went into the project thinking that it was bigger than it was, and then they have to course correct throughout the process. Because a publicist is going to do their job. They're going to, and their job has a handoff. You have to hand it off to them. And if you never hand anything off, you're going to pay them the monthly fee, and you ain't going to get what you want. Now, another thing to know about publicists is that at different stages of their career, some publicists, there's a hustler element to it. So if you are with a publicist, you don't really want to hire a publicist, in my opinion, unless you can go 6 months or more. Because if you're hiring a publicist for a 2-month sprint or 1 month this or whatever, they're basically going to slowly administer, their resources throughout that period. And they're basically
anyway.
They're going to cap it. It's going to be capped. So for me, when working with a publicist, I feel like a la carte is great. Let me buy your a la carte services. It may add up to more than their monthly retainer fee, but at least you can hold them to what you said. I pay for this, so you do this, right? A la carte services is one thing you want to do. And then if you do a sprint with a publicist, I say do a short sprint with them, see how hard they go, right? But you need to be prepared to turn around and do another 6 months. Don't expect to pay a publicist for 3 months and expect magic to happen, just because that's just not the way that it works. Publicity is a very intensive, a labor intensive, relationship intensive. It's a big goal. So it's a big task. Next thing you know is you have to have their buy-in. If they're not bought in, then they're not going to use their best relationships on you. Everyone in the game gets notoriety based off of what is called breaking an artist. So if you're the publicist that broke whoever, then you get more notoriety as a publicist. It gives you more credibility, it gives you more access, it gives you more opportunities, which leads to more money, more success, blah, blah, blah. So if said publicist believes that your artist has an opportunity to break, then they're going to be more invested. They're going to go harder. Now, breaking as an artist is going to be way more than just is the artist dope. A publicist is wise enough to know, because they deal with the team, that if the team is not good, if the team doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, this artist will never break no matter how great they are. Right? So the publicist is going to be evaluating the team, the business team, the whole structure of your team, what you can do, pros and cons, as well as the artist before they decide to commit and go through their secret bag of tricks to really go hard on you. Right? But in short, I'm giving you all this different game, but I'm going to sum it up here and say this. When you want to hire a publicist, you want to make sure that you know what your goals are for the publicist, i.e. events, right? National, like syndication, travel-based, type stuff, or online, right? You want to know where you want to go so that you're hiring the right person. 2, you need to already be moving, right? A publicist is gasoline. They are gasoline. If there is no fire, if you put gas on a log right now, what's going to happen?
That makes sense. So obviously I have to, and that goes with what you're saying about the publicist, because some of those things that you're saying, I could technically do the legwork for a lot of those things, except for maybe some of the things that are more specialized. But some of those things, as far as like the online marketing, all that, I don't necessarily need a publicist for that right now. I can probably put those resources in somebody that can help me with more live exposure.
Right.
Like events and things like that.
Correct. And you want to make sure that your artist is viable enough for the publicist to want to stand next to you at live events. Because if the publicist is there, the publicist's job is to know everyone in the room. You want the publicist to feel comfortable by saying, hey, this is my new client. Let me introduce you. And they're introducing you to, superstar producer, superstar, whoever. Like, you want them to feel, because to put their name on you, right, is a big deal. You also have PRs that are hustling. They'll say, hey, this is my new client, wink, wink, right? You also have that energy. So again, it goes back to the quality. If they believe, there's nothing stronger than someone working for you or with you that believes in your vision. And if you can get aligned, the publicist aligned with the vision, and you can pay the publicist appropriately, please don't go on. Like, one thing you don't want to do with publicists is shortchange them, because they will shortchange their service. And it's already a delicate service. So either be in or be out. That's my advice with publicists. Start the relationship off right, because everyone wants to hustle the publicist, right? They're accustomed to it. So you hustle them, you treat them that way, they treat you that way. Just be in or out. It's going to cost $5,000 a month. All right? You either save up 2-3 months until you were ready to get it popping, or, and then do it later.
All in.
Right? Be in or be out, right? If you don't feel like the service that they're providing is worth that, because you don't need that service as much as you thought you did, then just be out. Right?
That makes sense.
That's my other piece of advice.
I never saw it as far as all them different categories. I mean, it makes sense, but I never really looked at it that way. So that's something to look into.
Yes, sir. And publicists can do so much, man. They can hook you up with producers and mess around and help you get the publishing and everything else that you were talking about. Like, you can mess around and get placements. You can mess around and get, there are also publicists that are just really good at, they should be A&Rs, but they're publicists, because they'll hook you up with a producer and a songwriter and this and that. And they could be a manager, but they just haven't made that transition yet, because maybe they don't like being babysitters. As a manager, babysitter.
Yeah, exactly.
They may not want that shit, but they may love helping with the creative. You have that too, right? So
they can just be out when they want to be out, in the sense, as far as like, it's like they're independent contractors, really.
Yep, they can come in, do what they love to do. It's like, babysitting. Oh, it's a little baby. I love the baby. Play with the baby, and okay, done with the baby. Baby shitting all over the place. Here you go. So,
great.
I hope that was helpful in your PR journey. I know there was two sides of the question, but I can only address half of it in this time frame.
No, that's good. That was great for sure. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No problem, man.
I'm actually in the process of buying one of them, because I know you sell like an agreement template, right, on your website.
Yeah, we got all those. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm about to get some of those stuff that you have on there.
That would be
For my
dope.
artists and stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that'll be dope. We do we just try to provide insights and help people win and help people be successful. So I know I write a lot of info packs and things of that nature with the goal of helping people succeed, you know, and help people win. And it's just sharing, you know, my personal experience and experiences of the mentors that guided me, and just cutting through the fat and cutting through the bullshit. Like, yo, you want to win? This is what you do.
Yeah.
It's not hard. It's just work.
You said, yeah, that's the thing. It's not hard. It takes time and effort.
Yeah, man. It's not hard. It's work, and it's also faith and trust and all these other difficult things that can really, you know, make or break a situation. So best of luck to you, my guy. I appreciate you for supporting the channel, for supporting the website, and whatever you decide to cop and do on the website, I support that as well. And I hope that we can continue being, you know, a vessel for your success. And hopefully we can have another conversation like this in the future as we're continuing to do outreach on the podcast, my guy.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate you, man. Enjoy the rest of your day, my guy.
All right. You too. Take care.
Wasn't that dope? That was dope. I think that was my second time having this publicity conversation. So I'm not going to drill down into it because now there's going to be multiple, you know, pieces of content. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Sirr Love from Phase 6. Here's another snippet from Chasing Greatness. Let's move on and what's next. Let's see what's next. I messed up because I reached out to, at the beginning I said I had two Alexes reaching out to me. So let me reach out to the other Alex, right? And let's just stay on the Alex vibe right now. Let's see what the Alexes are talking about. So that was Rivera, and the other one is this brother right here. Here we go.
Hello?
Hello, may I speak to Alex?
Yes, sir. Speaking.
What's going on? It's Alex Samuel, right?
Yes, sir, man. How you doing?
I am good, my guy. I appreciate you for reaching out on the line there, my man.
Of course, man. You know, I feel pretty strongly about this topic just because I got a lot of friends and buddies that are, you know, personally involved.
I get it. No, I get it. This is an interesting topic, and I had this whole introduction for you, and then I realized I had two Alexes that I was calling tonight. I called the other Alex, and I'm like, yeah, I know we're getting ready to have a whole debate. And he said, what? And I'm like, yeah, you're ready to talk about this, that, and the third. And I already know your energy. I saw your message, and he's going, I don't know if that's me, man. And then I realized you're a whole different Alex, man. So note to self, as I continue doing podcasts in the future, make sure I read the last names. But yeah, but you're in VA, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
correct.
got it. I was telling my guy, I'm like, yeah, you're in VA. He's like, no, man, I'm in Orlando. I'm like, no, man, you're in VA. That's crazy. All right, so let's jump into it. So let's get back to the topic at hand, right? So I reached out, it did a blast to the community to say, hey, we're having these sessions for the podcast, and you didn't even respond with a question. You responded with an emotion, with a feeling, in reference to how 360 deals. As a matter of fact, let me read it because I don't think anything is better than how you just honestly said it. You said the music industry is a scheme, bro. It's modern day slavery. They're abusing young kids who trying to live their dream and robbing them because they don't know any better, bro. And I saw that and I said, man, we got to chat, man. So tell me as a manager, what experiences led you to feel this way?
Cool, man. So, obviously when you're an outsider from the music industry, just as a fan, you don't know too much of the workings and whatnot, and what's really going on behind the scenes. So when I first became a manager, it was really eye-opening for me, to go deep and see how the industry really works. And obviously it's not everywhere, where there's manipulation and control and these things. But in my opinion, I just saw a lot of talent that was
being misused and mistreated because I guess you could say greed. I don't think they really appreciated the artist or, their work themselves. They were just trying to see what can I get from this person? How much can I make off this artist? You know what I'm saying?
I get it. No, I 100% agree. I think that that's a piece of the game. The problem with having a person as a product, right, is the fact that your product can talk. Your product can make decisions. Your product can disagree with you. And when you base your life on the product, that product now controls your life, right?
Most definitely.
As a manager, you're probably in a situation where you're getting 10 to 25%, right? You could partner with the artist and be in a full partnership and be closer to 50%, right? But if you're a traditional manager, you're between 10 and 25%, right? So you might be at the standard 20%. Well, that means if the artist makes $100K that year, you make $20K that year. You could have worked at McDonald's.
Yeah, made $20K. Yeah.
That's when you start thinking about taking care of your family, if you have one, and as you grow older in this game, you will eventually, have, most people eventually have some type of family, either on purpose or by accident. You're going to end up with some responsibilities. Yeah. And, $20,000 ain't it. So a lot of times, we think about the success of artists and we say, oh, but they making millions and they doing this and they doing that. And there could be a wave of that. But, your lifestyle typically increases as your wealth increases, as your revenue increases. Not even your wealth, your revenue, your income. Yeah. So check it. Let's say, you're a manager, you're managing, and we're gonna dive back and we'll come back, but you're a manager, you're managing artists. Yeah. And the artist makes $1 million for the first 2 years. Well, you just make $200K for the first 2 years. You now live in a $200K lifestyle. $200K, if you're making $200K a year, the bank is going to approve you for $1 million house. Right?
That's fact. That's
right.
Big fact. Yeah.
Right? The bank's going to approve you for $1 million house. And you in the music game, you got to flex. You know what I'm saying? You got a certain look. So let's say you get that. Let's say you don't even do the $1 million house. You can do an $800,000, $500,000 house, but then you go get the $200,000 car and you get to this and you don't pay them all up front. You got them all. You got mortgages and car notes and like everyone else in the world. Right. And then that third year, that artist, decides I don't want to go on the road, man. I just want to chill and be me and just want to vibe. And you're sitting there going, well, shit, I'm gonna go broke. I gotta pay my bills. Right? Yeah. And so now you as the business person, and I'm using a manager as an example. There's multiple business people, but you as a business person are like, shit, I put all my eggs in one basket. If I don't find another artist, I'm gonna be out on the street. I'm gonna get evicted out of my $500,000 home. I'm gonna lose my $200,000 car. Right? So I mean, these are real situations. My kid's in private school. This is like, even if you're not being irresponsible with your money, you may be responsible. My kid's in a private school. This is going on. It still could, whatever. Your lifestyle is affected. So what is the outcome for you as a manager? Now you got to go get other talent and you got to groom other talent, but you don't have time to groom a talent for a year because you need money this year. So that energy that you're feeling of, Sinus 360, I need this money right now, is likely the business person saying, I ain't got time to play no games. I need more control because you can't control my life and take money out of my kids' mouth. And you can evict me with your decisions. It comes from that because they've been in these situations, right? Artists turning down shows, artists turning down record deals. That's a new thing now. Artists like, I don't want to be signed. I want to do it independent. Managers going like, but you can take this like $4 million deal, or even if it's not that, you can take this $1 million deal, which will put $200,000 in my pocket. You turning down the $1 million deal, and now I'm broke. I didn't sign up to be broke. Yeah. Right. I think that is kind of what leads the other side of the conversation that no one is thinking about or talking about.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I just want to add to that though. So for me personally, right, I got into managing because my best friend was doing this music thing, and he had a lot of talent. He was putting in work. So I seen it, and I was like, you know what, bro? Like, let me help you out. How can I help you? He was like, bro, you know what would really help? Like, you know, if you could study a little bit, learn your shit, and come help me and manage me. And I was like, yo, like, I got you. So I started putting in the work, started watching videos, this, and that. And at least for me, I always kind of thought of management not as a second job, but I guess, you know, something that wouldn't make it or break it for me necessarily.
Okay.
And so, I try. So going off that topic, as in where managers, you know, if the artist was to sign that $1 million deal, you get 20%, $200K. But I feel like a lot of managers are making those decisions exactly as you said, based off money, you know, to take care of their expenses and whatnot. But it is also very important to think of the long term as well, and where you're going with this artist, you know, in the future and whatnot.
Yeah, that's 100% true. But the managers in business, people in business that have the opportunity and luxury really to think about the future, are the ones that either aren't making any money or having access to money, and this isn't their priority, right? So, and this is not to this is just me cutting it real, right? Do I agree with the stuff that I'm saying that this should be how it is? The answer is no. But am I telling you a new perspective? Yes, I want you to see another perspective, right? So for the artist, for the manager that wants to make it in the game themselves, they're not in the game yet. They're passionate. They want to be a part of it. These things don't happen. You're all making decisions based off of the future because everybody's future is vested. So it's wise for an artist to partner with someone like you that is hungry on the way on the come up, that wants to grind and learn with them. The problem is that person is not as experienced, doesn't have as much knowledge, and has to really be vested in learning and growing. And that managerial person is most likely a business person. And at some point in their life, in their journey, they will realize that I can make more money faster in another industry. And their passion for the music business has to keep them there, right? And so that's the decision that the artist is making. Like, are you really down for this? One, you know, are you really down for me? Two, are we all going to grind together? It's all these things, right? Then if you go the route of someone that's more experienced, that's been through that jump already, how committed are they to being at the bottom, working their way back up again? Like in the music industry, once you hit a certain level, you don't want to go back. Because it's hard. It sucks. I made it here. I mean, think about it. Like, if any career, if you was flipping burgers at McDonald's and now you're the manager, you don't want to flip the burgers no more. Like, motherfucker, I flip burgers. I'm done flipping burgers. Someone else flip these motherfucking burgers. I count the money. That's the fuck I do. I count the money, right?
Hell yeah.
That you transition. Yeah. So, you know, there's ground level shit that they just not, that at certain levels of the game, when you get certain places, you just not down to do anymore, or even your caliber can just put you in a place where you're beyond that, right? And so in those spaces, when you're navigating that way, your deals and what you're doing is based off of your potential. The thing about deals and contracts in the game is that you're signing people off of your potential. I have the relationships and the connections to do this, that, and the third. So when I sign you, I'm signing you based off of my potential ability to do these things. Now, once I sign you, I need to know that I have full control because I've already been through the bullshit. So if I'm in a situation where you have too much decision-making power, then it can mess up the activities that I have planned.
Yeah.
Therefore, I don't want to be involved. If I can't control it, I don't want to be involved. I can waste my time, because to work with an artist is a full-time investment. You got to be very committed. You got to be damn committed.
Yeah, that is facts. You know what? I actually respect and appreciate that, because I guess I need to kind of materialize, you know, the wealth aspect, not even the wealth aspect, but produce off this, you know, being a manager, and actually take it a little bit more seriously. Because, you know, once you make that into a reality, you're actually able to get income off your, I guess, dream, or, you know what I'm saying, side hobby, whatever you want to call it. Changes everything.
There's a lot of opportunity for success in management. Plus, you'll end up managing multiple acts. Then you have multiple streams of revenue. You have to juggle the fact that artists get jealous of one another and all that shit. But it's all a part of the game. It opens up opportunities. You may get a label job, which may make you excited. A label may say, "I'll pay you $250K a year to work here." You'll be like, "What?" And I'll give you health benefits and everything else. You're like, "What?" You know, all these opportunities, you know, make themselves available to you. You know, you're sitting there like, I'm making doctor money. I didn't even go to school. Like all these things, you know, could happen, right?
Hell yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunities. You know, then the artist also gets other deals. So, you know, I remember I was doing a deal with Flow Rider. And we were doing a deal with Flow Rider where we were building out a game, right? And the purpose of the game was to create, and the Flow Rider was a racing game. And the purpose of the game was to create, you know, I don't even know how much, did we sign something? I don't know how much I can say on this shit. But in general, I can't give away the business process of the game because I'm pretty sure I signed something that says I can't talk about that part. But in short, it was a racing game that involved outside commercial institutions where you race to the institutions for various reasons and shit, right? But it was a racing game. And the thing about it was we get to the table, my guy gets to the table as an app developer with Flow Rider through Flow Rider's friend who's doing the deal with Flow Rider's manager, right? And this deal had the opportunity to create brand opportunities where it was a multi-million-dollar project, right? Well, the manager gets to come in and say, yo, I can't say that neither. Fuck, I put my foot down. But in general, just think about the deal that I just said, right? Managers get to take part in those types of deals when they come to the table.
Okay.
Right?
So it's not strictly music.
Yeah, it's not. And like managers typically, when outside deals come, managers would do their own deals with the same people outside of that. So let's say I was a real estate investor and I wanted to work with your artist, and I'm like, yo, your artist has X amount of dollars. I would love to help you out with this real estate thing. You know, you guys got the money. I'm gonna go short sell houses to you guys and then hook you up with these people to help you renovate them. You can flip them, put it on the market. You can say that's cool, that's dope. You know, my artists would love to do that. We would like to diversify our revenue and our income, right? That way, when the touring is slow, we still make money. So as a manager, you structure that deal. The artist is getting paid. This is not a music deal. You don't get 20% of this. So you might partner with the artist, get 50-50 of whatever the fuck you're doing, then turn around on your own and tell that same person, yo, I want to do my own shit too. I want to set up my wife and my niece, and you might turn around and do that investment real estate deal 10, 12 times without the artist.
Yeah. Dude, you know what? You saying that, like, it's actually kind of crazy to me because I was thinking of it strictly from the music industry perspective. Like, this is kind of branching out and really taking advantage of those opportunities and creating different avenues and lanes.
Yeah, man. You know? Listen, man, when 50 Cent did the vitamin water deal, right? He had a manager. The manager was Violator. It was Chris Lighty. You don't think Chris Lighty got paid, bro?
Nah, I don't.
Chris Lighty got paid, bro.
Damn.
Right? People got paid. Rest in peace, Chris Lighty, music industry legend, right? But as a manager, you get paid when you work those deals. You get paid, right? So, like, there's a lot of money. And let's go back to the 360 because I'm connecting the dots here. The reason a 360 is important is because if you don't have a 360, all these other elements that I'm talking about, there's no guaranteed pay.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But the thing about it is, a manager is already in a 360 with the artist. The 360s have always been around. Managers always got 360.
Yeah.
The problem with the 360 is that labels were asking for it, and they were asking for revenues for activities that they were not justifiably doing any work in or providing any value. Why am I giving you 10% of my shows if you're not helping to book my shows? Why am I giving you 10% of my merch if you're not out, if you're not, like, well, they're getting the merch anyway. That's a part of deals typically anyway. But, it's just, why am I giving you ancillary income when you're not doing ancillary work?
No, exactly.
That's what it came down to. That's what makes 360s bad. But if you had a label that was willing to do the work, it wouldn't even be a bad deal. It's just that most labels haven't been willing to do the work. Because you'll give it to your manager for doing the fucking work. Pay people for working. Don't pay people for not working. And that's where 360s are bad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like I said, going back to the text, not all deals are bad and not everything going on. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely do think there were cases, like the Uzi situation, for example, with Don Toliver and all that, or not Don Toliver, what's that dude's name? Man, I'm blanking right now. I can't remember. Whoever Uzi was signed to, man, I'm blanking, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't let him release music, you know. I feel like it kind of fucked up his fans and himself a little bit. But just small things like that, you know, where they kind of... it's the clash between business and art, you feel me? And it's like a very thin line.
It's a thin line, man, but it's just a part of the game. It's relationships, it's people, it's situations, right? If me and you do a deal together, right? If me and you do a deal together, you got a girlfriend or a wife or whatever?
Yeah, I got a girl.
You got a girl, right? If me and you are doing a business deal together and I fuck your girl, does that fuck up the deal?
Yeah, low key.
It should. It fucks up the deal, right? So now if you have access to controlling, you know, something that I do business wise, would you be as likely to just naturally keep that shit? Like, wouldn't you want to get back at me in some type of way?
Yeah, that does make sense.
Artists do fucked up shit all the time.
That's true.
They burn a lot of bridges. And I'm not saying that's what Uzi did. I'm just saying that when I see situations, I know there's multiple sides. Like, the label could be bad, the artist could be bad, but the problem is for the consumer is that we only hear the artist side of the story. So it's always poor, helpless artists didn't know what they were doing. They ended up in a bad situation. Are there people taking advantage of artists? Yes. Are there artists manipulating the situation? Yes. Are there artists that just don't know? Yes.
True.
Bro, you're 19. Like, yo, I give a kid $500,000 at 19 years old and tell him, yo, I want you to do your project. I want you to put together, and I want you to, you know, remember, you got, you know, you have to pay me back, you know, but I believe in you. I believe that you're going to make more than $500,000. So let's properly, you know, think about how we're going to invest this money into your success. 19-year-old kid don't know what the fuck that means. 19-year-old kid's like, yo, mama, I made it. I'm buying you a house, right? Because I want to get my mom out the hood. I want to do, yo, I got to buy a chain. I got to buy a car. I got to buy this. But by the time it's time to do the album, you done spent most of the budget for the album. So now we can't pay none of the dopest producers for your album. So now you wondering why you don't have the dopest producers on your album, because we can't afford the producers because you blew all your fucking money, right? And that's the reason why. Now, this was like a 90s issue, early 2000s issue, not 90s, early 2000s issue. And that's the reason why now budgets are broken up into pieces. You don't get your whole budget up front like you used to. Now you get an advance, and then you have a marketing budget, you have a studio budget, you have a recording budget, you have all these like separate budgets for separate shit. And that's to help prevent the artists from doing stupid shit. And so, like, historically, man, it's like just even me working with artists. Artists are creative and talented and amazing people, man. But like most artists that I know don't have any control over their life.
Low key, I feel you heavy on that, dude. Because you know, I was thinking solely, kind of just looking out for my artists. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? We gotta look out for the artists, looking for the artists, looking for the artists. Because that's how you be thinking as, like, you know, a manager. But low key, you're right. Like, artists do be taking like advantage of certain situations and, you know, doing some fucked shit. So I do agree. I do agree with you on that one.
It's all the same. So when I look at a 360 deal from a label, I don't see it as a bad thing. I don't see it as a good thing. I see it as a deal. And either the deal is good or bad based off of the percentages that are written in there and the commitments that are assigned to those percentages. Period. Right? If everything makes sense, then it makes sense. I don't give a fuck what you call the deal. Right? If it makes sense, it makes sense. If it don't, it don't. Right? But the idea of labels out here just taking advantage of young artists, I would say that there is there is truth to it, because there's good and evil in every space on both sides of the coin. But this is the cool shit about signing to a label, man, that people don't understand. Yo, if I give you $500,000 right now to sign to my label, you can say, I quit rap. I'm going to go open up a barbershop and make some money. Fuck you. There's no FDIC that's going to give me my money back. I can't fuck up your credit score. Your credit score is going to be just fine. I have no way of getting my money. You didn't like if you go to the bank, they're gonna ask you to put up, they're gonna ask you to put something up. You gotta put your house up. You gotta put something up in exchange, unless they're gonna vet your assets to see if you can pay it back. All this other type of shit, right? If you run off of my $500,000, I can't take your house. I can't take your car. I just got fucked.
Damn.
Right?
That's actually crazy.
Like when you really think that's it. That's all there is to it. All I can do now is send some goons to your house and say, where the fuck my money at? Right?
That's insane.
So when you say, man, these artists, they're screwing these artists and does that and third, it's like, are they? They gave you free cash and asked you to do something in return. The cash wasn't free because you licensed over, you gave up everything. Now, in reference to deals that ask artists to give up their name and their likeness and all this shit and perpetuity and all this other stuff, I don't agree with it. Like a bad deal is a fucking bad deal. I don't agree with it. But when you look at the systems in place, the players in place, my whole argument is that it's never black and white. It's always gray because artists are not consistent creatures. And if they were, they wouldn't be any good as an artist. So they're supposed to be the way they are. I love artists for being the way they are. It's what makes them fucking money. Like if they weren't fucking crazy, no one would want to listen to them. So I fuck with that. But how do you put lightning in a bottle and keep it from fizzing out? That is the question that a business person in music is always trying to figure out.
You know what, bro? I'm going to have to give this one to you, honestly, because I've never heard that from nobody. I've never heard that perspective from anybody, and that was actually pretty mind blowing.
Hey man, I appreciate it. I was excited to have this conversation because every time I have this conversation, I love hearing the perspectives of other people in the argument. So yeah, man, I appreciate this. I appreciate this this dialogue. We've definitely gone over the 10, 15 minutes for sure. And I appreciate you for creating the type of environment and conversation that was going to make that happen, man. But thank you for the debate, my guy. Thank you for the debate, man.
Thank you for having me, brother. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you. Keep doing you, man. I appreciate all the information you're spreading, bro. Definitely appreciate, and more blessings your way, man.
I appreciate you too, man. Enjoy the rest of your day, my guy.
You too, brother. Have a good one.
That was fun. I love having those just natural debates, man. If you want to get on the show, 404-442-4792. Again, 404-442-4792. Let's talk about the music business, man. Let's talk. Let's chat. I like that. And that was the first time I just had a conversation without a question. I think that's interesting. We might need to do more of that. Just debates from individuals with their individual experiences. All right. We're at the hour mark here, and I think it's best that we put a pin in it this time, and I'll start up another series. But I want to keep going, but I kind of feel like I don't want you guys sitting there listening to these things for 4 or 5 hours, 2-3 hours. I want to create an environment where you can get your dose and keep it moving, right? So, remember, we're all on a quest to be the best, to be amazing, And in that quest, we are all searching for greatness. Hence why I call this chasing greatness, as if greatness is a thing that must be chased down and subdued. The best way to achieve greatness is to do great things every single day. And by great things is to be great, to be an example, to be exemplary of greatness in the little tedious things that you do throughout the day. And over time, it will reveal itself as great. So we're not necessarily chasing an idea. We are being true to the moment. I don't know everything, but I know a lot about a little and a little bit about a lot. And every time I do this, I'm trying to give you guys every single thing that I got right here.
Come on and face it. If you need some marketing motivation, you can learn to transform your life and build your own empire. With Sirr Love.
Real talk, no chase.
Yeah.
Real talk, no chase.
Yeah.
Real talk, no trace.
Yeah.
Real talk, I said real talk. I said real talk, no chase.
Yeah.
Real talk, no chase.
Yeah.
Real talk, no chase.
Yeah. With Sirr Love.